Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark. I'm your host, Sally, joined by my co-host, Katie. We're identical twin sisters. We invite you to join us as we investigate our similarities and differences in all things life has to offer. Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark. I'm your host, Sally.
And I'm your other host, Katie.
Welcome in, everybody. Today is a beautiful day. I got a new car. Woo woo.
Woo.
Now I'm officially driving something that can fit 10 kids in very easily. It's not one of those creepy vans, but it's a Jeep Wagoneer L. And did I say that right? Wagoneer L. And it's amazing. And it's made my whole day complete.
Awesome.
Katie doesn't care, but I care because I've turned into the school shuttle. I swear every morning somebody is texting me to take their children to school, and it's just so nice to be able to just know I can.
She's talking about me.
Well, no, you're one of the people.
Yeah, I always text because my son loves going to school with Sally.
No, I love having him, but now he has his own seat that isn't crammed into a minivan.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm so excited.
You're moving on up in life.
Moving on up. Bigger is better in some regard. And maybe all regard. I'm not opposed to saying bigger is always better.
In what situation is smaller better?
Ugh.
Okay, that's a good question.
So that is a good question. I think some women like smaller boobs because their boobs hurt them.
Yeah, I mean,
But they're not wanting small boobs. They want smaller.
Smaller. Yeah,
huge.
but in which case is small better?
I don't know. That's really hard. I'd rather have a bigger car, bigger yard, bigger house. I mean, this sounds really vain. Bigger other things. I don't know. Have you ever had a smaller something that
made me feel better?
Yeah, that made you feel just as good as the bigger?
I don't know. Yeah, I always... Yeah, it's hard to say. No, I think it is better when
bigger is better.
Bigger is better. Oh
Obviously,
my God.
Not for I guess you could say bigger bills aren't better. Bigger, anything negative isn't better.
Right. But I'm talking about actual size of anything. A bigger rock on the ring, a bigger, okay. Should we go into the fact that Sally can't get her wedding ring off?
Guys, I'm so upset. I don't wear my wedding ring all the time lately because
we've talked about it.
I really like the look of just a band, and my wedding ring is a little bit smaller than my band, and my fingers get swollen a lot lately. I don't know why are they getting swollen so much lately. I don't know. I'm retaining water. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. I put my wedding ring on Friday because I really, no, there was no reason. I just thought maybe I'd get treated better at the doctor if they knew I was married. I was heading to the doctor.
Okay, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
That is so, okay, I really believe, though, that you probably do get treated better if you're wearing your wedding ring.
100%, because I went to an orthodontist appointment because my bracket, or I have a built-in retainer, and it broke the other day. And I swear I didn't have my wedding ring on. They treated me kind of rude, honestly. Like I was just a irresponsible 20-something-year-old that broke her retainer. And then at the very end, I mentioned that my 4 kids were waiting in the car because Adam came from work to just sit with them so I could go in.
Yeah.
And then immediately they switched their tune and were nice and polite. So when I went to the doctor a couple days later, I was like, I'm going to wear my wedding ring because I think it sounds terrible, but if they just think you're just this young, dumb person, I don't know if they take you seriously.
Do you think it's all in your head?
It was a visible switch, honestly.
So,
I'm not even kidding. And when I wore my wedding ring, honestly, it was a different location. It wasn't like I was going back to the orthodontist, but everyone was so kind, so nice, treated me like they're equal. But at the orthodontist, she was super rude.
I think so. That is something I do feel as though I've experienced because I'm not married, and maybe I am in my head, but I think I've been treated worse in public because I'm not married and I have a son, and I don't think people are as kind to me as when I was married. I had a ring. I looked like I had my life more together. I think there's a
Interesting.
stigma. Like,
Do you think it's with your son you don't get treated well, or is it even when you're alone? Because I was alone and I was treated. I really felt like they thought I was like 10 years younger. Like this
they
sounds
thought
like
you were younger.
yeah, they thought I was younger, and they were like treating me like a child.
I think it's probably gone both ways, but and it's part of me is like, is it in my head? Because I notice when people wear their wedding rings and when they don't wear their wedding rings. That's probably one of the first things I notice is like, are they wearing a ring or are they not wearing a ring?
I don't really notice.
I notice it, but it might be my paranoia because when I was going through my divorce or separation, I remember taking off my wedding ring and being like, "Oh, everybody's gonna notice and know like something's going on," and be
Yeah,
really
for sure.
paranoid about it. But
I guess I do notice if they go from wearing a ring to then all of a sudden not wearing a ring, that is noticeable. Okay, this whole conversation started. We should tell them why we're even talking about this. I put my wedding ring on Friday, and guys, it's stuck. It won't come
she
off.
can't get it off.
And literally, like, I tried everything. My parents were like, ice your hand. I iced it for like 30 minutes, not a budge. I tried oil. I haven't tried Windex. Somebody told me to try Windex. Adam tried this trick where you wrap string around your finger to kind of like get it to like, I think, depuff or like the ring can go over it.
Yeah.
It made me feel so sick. I feel so sick with it stuck on my hand. And Adam's like, this is how I am all the time because he can't get his over his knuckle. It's making me honestly like want to break it. Like it's
just claustrophobic.
It makes me feel claustrophobic.
Yeah. I don't like anything stuck on my hand.
Oh, it makes me, I can't even function. Like, yeah, I'm not over exaggerating. Adam and I were up until probably 1:30 last night. I'm not over exaggerating because I was like, I couldn't let it go. I was like, oh, why is it? And anyway, now it's more swollen than it was to begin with, and it won't come off.
It does look swollen.
It's swollen because we've been messing with it.
Yeah,
so
stop
much.
messing with it.
I know. It's so bad. So, I mean, maybe it's
supposed to be there.
I don't know. I've never been so close to being like, let's just tattoo rings because I can't do this anymore. This is really
I was thinking about this because Lady Gaga's new song is such a bop.
Oh yeah.
How bad do you want
so
me?
Happy
or how does
she's
it
back.
go? Is it how bad do you want me?
Yeah, how bad do you want me?
But it mentions getting a tattoo for their partner in it. And first off, I was like, we need to make a reel where it's like, because we got tattoos for our partners, girls. Like we are those girls.
Those girls. So we can relate to you, Lady Gaga.
But I was also like, the people that have like a bias against that, tattoos are reversible now. Like you can, I know like it's not like they're actually permanent. Like you can get them removed. I know somebody who did it. It's incredibly painful. Yeah. But I'm like, for people to make it sound like it's like this crazy decision because you're going to be stuck with it for the rest of your life, like stop being so fatalistic.
I mean, in my personal opinion is you are stuck with it for the rest of your life. I would never go through.
But I'm just saying, like, if something terrible happened and you're like, I don't want this on me anymore, there are ways to get it off.
If it was like
something. Like just like there are ways to get out of your marriage. Like there is a way out of most big decisions.
You can also cover it up with something else.
100%.
But I don't think tattoos are a big deal. But I also think like our meat suits aren't really a big deal that much anyway. Like, you're going to tat up this one, and then in your next life, you'll still come back as a bare-ass baby.
True.
Yeah. So that's my philosophy on that. Anyway, I feel like I'm in shackles right now with this wedding ring stuck on me. And it's so funny. Like I said, Adam, that doesn't bug him, but it is just driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, so you think you get treated differently. That's interesting. I wonder if you should start just wearing a ring on your hand.
I think I'd get treated better.
Yeah, maybe you just
I'm 100% sure. Yeah.
You just need to start wearing a ring on your hand.
Yeah.
And seeing how you get treated.
And it's funny because I kind of wonder if it's like just because they know you I don't even want to say it out loud. What? Like the patriarchy knows that you belong to a man, they respect the man. So they treat you better. Huh. Because like not wearing a ring, I just feel like I get treated worse. But like what is that? Is it just in my head?
The crazy thing is both my doctors that I saw this week were women, and it was women treating me weird.
Yeah.
I hate that. I feel like sometimes women are harder on women.
and I think you could see that. Okay, well, I'm just gonna say it. With the presidential election, I felt like women hate women.
It's hard.
And
Yeah.
it's like, and I see it all the time. Unfortunately, I think I have a really good supportive group at work, but I see it at work all the time too. It sucks.
It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if men have that much energy to hate each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see them like tearing each other down as much.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're more, and this is just from my observation of people I work with, it just seems like they're more on their journey of focusing on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if women, I mean, I do think that you can evolve to focus on yourself, but even that is criticized by other women. Like, I think that
Yeah.
sometimes other women hate me because I'm so focused on myself, you know?
Yeah.
And like, if a man's focused on himself, he's just a hard worker. And, he's just trying to climb the ladder. And like, I don't think that men get criticized for taking care of themselves.
Interesting. Yeah, it is really interesting. I don't want to, I don't know. I feel like we're trying really hard in this era of our life to like surround ourselves with like uplifting, awesome women.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate. I do think like you see so much women on women hate, and it's just like sad we have to have that, because like it doesn't need to be there. Like the only reason it's there is because you're either insecure or comparing yourself to someone else,
Yeah.
And I don't know. It is sad.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. I was thinking about this week how I don't know how many good bosses I've had in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really had a really good boss that was a woman.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, I don't know. Like when I was teaching, obviously, I think that the vice principal and principal, they were women and they were really great. But I mean, like in the corporate world, when I was working for hotels and
Yeah.
hospitality, I didn't have any like good women bosses.
What do you think the difference was?
They didn't exist.
Oh, they just weren't there.
They would just they weren't there.
Well,
But like the bosses I did have though, like were actually really, really. It was like they were like psychotic.
oh,
Like if I had a woman boss, sorry, she was really flawed, and like
yeah,
I haven't had like a strong woman boss.
I've had everybody I've looked up to in my career has been a man, and it's only because I never had the visibility of somebody doing what I'm doing that was a woman until very recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I feel like a lot of the stuff that I admired about them, I pulled from, like I formed my corporate identity based off of everything I was observing from these men.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for the first time, I think a couple years ago when I started to like add my own myself, like find myself and add myself into who I am and like make sure that I'm, feeling myself. It was like the first time where I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to create this identity for a woman. Like, what is it? I can be myself. I can dress in what I want to wear. There are a lot of things I learned from them, the men, but like, I still need to feel comfortable in my own skin.
And I really do think like that can be a debatable topic, I guess, like in some regard, like how important you think it is to see women in powerful positions. I do think it's equally as important to see men in powerful positions, but I think that like they both need to be in powerful positions because yeah, if you show up authentically as yourself, you're going to show up a lot different than a man.
100%.
But like if you've only ever seen a man do your job, I feel like then you start like changing your ways. Like I think that there were a couple of years where you were dressing more manly, like you were like
totally
in like man clothes, basically to try to be like, I'm going to fit in. I'm going to do exactly what he does because I know that is what success is.
Yeah.
But it's so important to be authentically yourself. Like if you like wearing like fancy colors or I don't know, earrings or whatever, because the young girls then can see, oh, that can be a boss too.
Yeah, I think it really started after I got my divorce when I was like finding myself where I realized like don't change for anybody. But I had a time where like I would look at the male like guys that I admired, like the art directors, creative directors, and they would all play video games on the weekends together. And like, I was never going to get involved or invited to that, you know? But these are people that I really look up to. And I feel like I'm a part of that group, but I'm not, you know, like.
Also, I feel like when I was working at a hotel, I won't say the brand, but anyway, I was one of the supervisors in the front office, and everybody else was a man.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one girl that was a manager, but anyway, there was like 5 to 2. Like, I mean, they're mostly men.
Yeah.
I feel like even if you want to be part of their crowd, you can never really fully be part of their crowd because like you're not a boy. Like I feel like and like the day that you wear a dress and heels, they all act different. Well, you know, like they can't even help it. Like they're just like they treat you different, and they're also like men. Like they're gonna I don't know. Like back then I just feel like I couldn't fit in even if I tried.
Yeah, I think that my therapist said to me something that I keep
Your
repeating
couples
to
therapist?
myself.
Your
Yeah.
couples-
She was like, you are an outsider, but that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
and I keep repeating that in my head because I'm like, it's okay. Like, who cares? Like, you're not like them. That's the strength that you have. That's what you bring to the table. That's why you are where you're at. But like, it is hard where you have to like lead by example because you haven't seen a woman do what you've done, are doing, or do anything that you want to do necessarily yet.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really funny because right now, first of all, my husband is in a profession and he came from a very male dominated profession and now he's working under women.
Yeah.
I almost knew he was going to get the job because he does interviews really well with women. Like he's a women's guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is meant for you. But it is interesting all of a sudden him working with women. I'm like, that's such a different boss than you used to have. Like I feel like just like they're even the fact that they don't reach out to him like when he's off work and stuff, I'm like, it's because I think women like have so much more to do. Like they have
maybe
I don't know what it is, and maybe that doesn't make sense, but it's very interesting, like to think about a different leadership style, like women versus men, and even to make it a sex thing. But I mean, I read something somewhere, and it was like, and this is I don't want to be a man hater, first of all, but this said like, why do we trust men to be the leaders of this nation? Because like literally, have you ever tried to plan a birthday party with a guy who ends up doing it all?
Yeah.
Like they can't
or
even
Christmas or
literally
anything,
can't even plan anything. So why are we having them dictate things for like the nation?
Yeah. I had a woman boss for a very long time, and she I think is the reason why I've developed thick skin. I think she spent all of her time trying to make me and the other girls in our team as tough and strong as possible, knowing like you're gonna have to be.
Yeah.
You know, like she really.
But it's not like because the guys up on top are insufferable or like like you know what I mean? It's just because I think people are more likely to take down a woman.
Yeah, no, and it's like it's so true. Like if you have to have a reason for why you do anything, or or any decision you make has to be backed up with so much research. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just because people are more likely to doubt you from the beginning.
No, 100%. I was watching Running Point on Netflix, and it's about a woman that takes over her business, or the family business of running a basketball league or team. I don't know, something famous. And she's taking over for her brother. And they make that point. They're like, men can have a rough couple months when they first start. Like, that's them getting their sea legs,
Yeah.
Women cannot make a mistake from the get-go because that is going to directly be pointed and ridiculed, and that's sad, but they made a point of that, so she always has to be like making the right decision perfect.
Yeah.
And that is so crazy.
It is so true though. And I feel like you see that all the time with celebrities or social media or the presidency or whatever. It's like the man can make several mistakes or say terrible things out loud on camera that are very questionable,
but or be like a convicted sex offender.
Right. And the woman says one thing that could get misconstrued and her career is ruined.
Yeah. I saw the Giggly Squad, one of the girls, I don't know their names, but
Hannah and Paige.
Okay, Hannah, I think. Yeah. She was ridiculed because she said like she fights to Meg Thee Stallion's music.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, are we really, like, I don't mean to diminish someone's whatever, but like, can we stop with like trying to get people canceled? This is
Yeah.
so stupid. Like, if a guy said that, people would laugh and think it was a joke.
They wouldn't even read
They
into
wouldn't even
it.
bring in it's just crazy. It's like you can't even talk freely anymore without getting canceled. And like, I am 100% like a type of person who, if a person needs to be canceled, I get it. Like 100%, they're a terrible person or they shouldn't have a platform. But when somebody's a well-meaning person that's literally just trying to like make a conversation or help people bond or laugh, that is so bad.
I
Like,
know.
I hate that.
I hate it too. I do feel like I'm over the cancel culture.
I'm
and
over
like,
it. I think
and
most people are over it.
I bet we'll get shit for saying this, but I think people need to like suck it up and be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Like, don't take things so personal. You're being a baby.
And like, for us to say that as millennials, like, we all got a trophy for every freaking game we won. Like, for us to say suck it up, it's not even like, I feel like we're like the most sensitive of people, but sometimes I'm also
We are
just like,
not.
why are you so hung up on these teeny tiny things, nitpicking others, that you literally are, that's all your energy is going to.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, you're exhausting energy on something that's so like you could have just ignored and moved on from.
Yes.
Like, that's like a lot of energy to put towards something that really isn't gonna matter.
100%.
You know, like,
and also I think it's just that mentality of like, I feel like once you get over the fact that you can't control anybody and like everybody has their own brain and they're going to say whatever they want with the language they've learned.
yeah.
Not everybody's language abilities are the same. And like, once you get over the fact that like, you can't control anyone, everyone has free will, then I think you kind of shut the fuck up and just let them say what they say and you're like, okay, that's them. If you don't like it, then just be like, okay, that's
Well,
them.
that, like, if you accept them for who they are, it's a lot easier to be like, I know who they are, so they're not disturbing me by being this way, or they're not disappointing me, or, you know, because that's just who they are, and then
like,
you
that
can move
doesn't mean,
on.
yeah, that doesn't mean you need to like tear them down, or I mean, you can just stop listening to them,
Right.
or stop hanging out with them.
Well, so this reminds me though, I've had to distance myself from some of my coworkers because they'll get fixated on others that they dislike at the workplace, and they'll want to like bring them down.
like, just bash
And
them
they'll
all the
talk
time.
about them all the time, and I just can't be around it because it's like I don't want that to be where my energy is. Like, I could put my energy here, or I could have put it into
No.
something creative
Every
and positive.
yeah,
And it's
every
like,
time I've ever failed at a job, was in my like 20s, and it was because I don't work anymore. But it was because I got caught up in the drama. Like, somebody was like, "This boss is terrible," or
yeah,
this and this and this, and then I like listen to it, and then I get so caught up. It's just like, that is such a waste of energy,
yeah.
and it's like, it makes you worse at your job.
Well, the thing is, like, all of that time spent festering, again, that's time you could spend doing something positive.
Also, I think of like, that's literally manifesting just negativity. Like, if
Like,
you're,
it's-
you're
yeah, 'cause
so
you're-
focused
yeah.
on like the negative, you're just like, you're manifesting a negative workplace by being so focused on the negative.
Yeah, for sure. I always say, like, if you have a one-on-one with your manager or boss, the worst thing you can do is go into that one-on-one and talk about other people. Like,
Yeah.
that is an amateur mistake. Don't spend the time doing it. It only makes you look terrible.
Yeah.
And in the end, you probably didn't do anything.
Honestly, that lesson is learned on The Bachelor.
Oh,
Literally,
yeah.
like, that is like number
Oh,
one.
totally. Like, one-on-one dates.
If,
like,
if you
don't
literally
spend
go on
your
a
time-
one-on-one date and you're talking shit about the other girl, it's like, why do you care more about her than me?
Yeah.
Like, you have me for 30 minutes. Can you just focus on me for a second?
For sure.
But in work, yeah, that is,
I mean,
amateur. It's
that's so funny.
inappropriate. It's also such a waste of time. Any boss looking at somebody who's just bitching and moaning about somebody else, they have to be like looking at their watch, being like, "This is such a fucking waste of time."
Oh, for sure.
Like, is this what I'm gonna do? Am I gonna promote someone like that so I have to hear from her every day to talk talk about this? That's so annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so annoying. I mean, I would hope people our age aren't doing that anymore, but I'm sure they are. I'm just like removed from it.
Oh, people. Yeah, no, this is a thing.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Anyways, what are you
If
talking
you want
about?
to be
That's positive.
a boss, don't be. I know, how much am I going to cut out because we're just bitching and moaning?
I mean, maybe it's good. Maybe this is what people need to hear because maybe others can relate.
I know. See, I got an episode about babies because I wanted to be selfish and talk about what I wanted, and now Katie gets an episode about work.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even want to spend it on work. All right, what's something positive we can talk about?
Hi everyone, it's Sally. We're going to leave our story there for today and pick up next week on Twin Study After Dark. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'll meet again next week for more Twin Studies.